also see a lot of hope and potential. My first time here, man, so I'm just taking it all in, really. But I went to the old town, and I could see, the stripe in people's faces, But at the same time, like I said, man, like with anything, there's always that hope, and there's always, I see the rebuilding happening,
That's a great thing coming from you. Well, we won't talk about your beginnings because if you're listening to Madball, to hardcore, you gotta know that. Therefore, our listeners must know that. Tell me, what would you be today if you weren't who you are?
Oh man, that's a good question. I love music. I have a passion for music. Not even just hardcore music. Hip-hop music, just music in general. I have a love for it. If I wasn't who I am now, I really hard to say what I would be. I mean, a firefighter. I don't know. I would be, something challenging, something challenging. I guess. It's hard to say. I could be a couple of bad things too, but I won't touch on that.
Okay,
Luckily, I have music.
And we're going to stay positive with this one.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, is this your day job? Is this how you make a living?
Music is my life, man. It's not even just my day job. It's definitely how I make a living. It's not the easiest way to make a living because we're not top of the pops. We're not on mainstream radio. We're not our music genre is just not, on that level. It has grown, and I want to see it continue to grow because my love for the genre, But, on one hand, we're one of the luckier hardcore bands because we can sustain ourselves somewhat, On the other hand, it's a hard living, But I manage bands, I produce shows, I do other things, I have other projects that I make music with, so between all of those things, I'm able to stay afloat.
Well, on that note, why did you choose hardcore music?
It chose me. I didn't choose it. It chose me, man. It was, my brother Roger was heavily into the scene, one of the pioneers, and I was young, impressionable, and very much into it, I'm very, very impressed by the whole movement. So it sort of fell on my lap, and I had no problem with it at all. I just sort of embraced it,
What keeps you going till this day? There must have been some setbacks in the years.
There's always some setbacks. I think in life in general, there's always setbacks, But I think what's kept me involved is just the desire to be maybe better at what we do, and the passion for performing and stuff like that, and also just the love and passion for the movement as a whole. Just to see it growing on a worldwide level is, impressive, and we've traveled the world doing hardcore, and it's an impressive feat if you can really think back on how it all started and stuff. So, I feel like we've been waving the flag for hardcore for a lot of years, and I have a loyalty to it,
So can you tell me your opinion on hardcore scene today in the U.S. and in the world?
Well, I think it's, in the world it's great overall. I mean, we're still playing new places. I mean, we're in Bosnia playing here in Sarajevo, first time. So there's always a new experience to be had, And in the States, there's great cities to play. And New York is still very much a stronghold for hardcore. Overall, there's so much music in America in general, and so much mainstream stuff that it's hard sometimes for people to appreciate the culture of hardcore. But there are still cities that do, and we still tour in the States, and we tour everywhere, so we keep at it,
Let's just switch for a minute to the soul of Freddy. Can you tell me something about your rap project?
My rap project, I have an album, Catholic Guilt. It came out, it's been out now, I think, 2 years. And I don't have a massive distributor that's able to, I don't have a big machine behind me. I put it out myself. I had some labels interested, but I wanted to do this myself, everything myself. So I put it out on my own thing, and it's well distributed through the internet. A little harder to find on the physical, but I think it's making its rounds now. And I think slowly but surely, I think people are starting to understand what it is about and appreciate it. And I've been a hip hop fan since I was a little boy.
Well, then you got to tell me, who do you listen to?
Oh man, a lot of people. Everything from Rakim and the old stuff, Slick Rick, Ice Cube, even Marley Marl before that, Sugar Hill Gang, then Cool G Rap, Wu-Tang, all that stuff. I mean, I've been listening to hip-hop since the 80s when it was starting, so a little bit after it was starting because I'm younger than hip-hop is, but pretty much early on. So I've been a fan of that genre forever, and I've always felt like, I wanted to, do the MC thing, but never got around to it, and now I finally got around to it, and I feel like I'm starting to really grasp what it's about and the skill of it and everything, so I'm hoping to only get better and better, I'm working on my new album now. I'm working on a mixtape, or street CD, with my friend Jason, who's another great rapper from Boston, and we're going to put the street CD out first.
I think I heard the guy rapping with Ed OG.
He's with Ed OG, yeah. He was with Ed OG and Special Teams and Flames. And then, he's been featured on Coca Nostra stuff. He's definitely a respected rapper, and he's my good friend, so I think we're going to do a mixtape with us together. And then I'm going to drop an album.
Sick, I can tell it already.
Yeah, man. We already have a lot of material, so it's cool, man.
I got to ask you a question that I really got to know the answer to. You worked with Fear Factory on D Manufacture. Tell me something about that.
Yeah.
The agnostic front cover.
Well, we were label mates at the time, and they reached out to me. The label reached out to me to do the cover, and I said, well, why don't you just reach out to my brother, But they thought at the moment Agnostic Front was sort of out of the mix, and they were taking a break from music, and my brother was doing motorcycle mechanic stuff, and they thought maybe since we were active and we were on the same label, less politics about whatever, and they said, oh, it might be cool for you to do your brother's part, blah, 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 and I said, oh, yeah, sure. If you want me to do it, I'll do it. And I met those guys on the road many times, crossing paths in festivals and stuff in Europe and in the States, so they were always very cool guys, big fans of hardcore, really respectful guys, so for me it was no problem, man. I liked them as people, so when they asked me, it was like, yeah, my pleasure,
That easy.
Yeah, me and Vinny went up to the studio in New York and upstate, and we dropped it, and that's it. We did it a couple times live.
Yeah, I actually saw a clip on YouTube from Dynamo.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Years ago. Good guys, man, and I know that record now is considered a classic, and they were doing something different at that time, so it was cool to be a part of it,
Yeah, D Manufacture is the shit. Another question I gotta know the answer to. Will we ever get a Madball album that is all in Spanish?
Possibly. If we don't do a full album, we will definitely do an EP, 4 or 5 songs, fully in Spanish.
I'm looking forward to that.
I think so. I think it's very, very possible, very, very likely. There's a lot of things that Madball hasn't done. We haven't done a live album. We haven't done a fully Spanish EP, There's still things that...
Well, be sure when you do that to give a shout-out to me.
I will give you a shout-out.
Well, to keep this short, tell me just your expectations for tonight.
I hope people go freaking crazy, go bananas, go nuts, man. I always get excited to play in new places. It's as exciting for us as I'm sure it is for the people that have never seen us.
No doubt.
So I hope between our energy and their energy that something special happens, you know?
And just a quick one, favorite Madball song?
Oh, man, I hate picking my own music, man. All or Nothing from the Empire record. It was, you know, not our most complex song, but I love the melody of it. And believe it or not, it has somewhat of a melody and the sentiment behind it. And I think it you know, encapsulates a lot of things that Madball is about, you know. So I would say that's one of my favorite songs that we've ever done.
I gotta ask you this one. The song Heaven Hell, I can relate to it, so tell me something. When you were writing it, what were you thinking about? How did it come about?
Yeah. I mean, it's really the story of my life, you know, being torn between good and evil, sort of, you know. I mean, I'm not an evil person by nature, but, you know, I do have some bad tendencies. I think like all of us do, you know. Everybody has their flaws and their, you know, their demons that they have to battle in life, you know. And luckily, I've been able to figure out, you know, how my demons work, and I've been pretty good about controlling them, and I'm getting better. But you know, my intentions are always good, and you know, I'm a family person. I'm about my family. I'm about my friends. I'm loyal. I'm, you know, to my people. That's first and foremost. So I think I mean well by first and foremost. But you know, like not with everyone, but with certain people, there's a darker side as well. And that song is basically about battling that, and it's also with regards to family, because my father.
Yeah, I heard you dedicate it to your father.
Yeah, my father is sort of the same way, you know. So maybe I inherited or learned some of those things from him. He's a good man and he means well, but he's had a lot of demons and a lot of anger issues and a lot of things that he's had to deal with in his life. And I felt like our similarities have inspired that song. And I sort of tell some stories without getting too in detail about personal stuff, but it's just I think a song a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether you're religious or not, I think it's beyond that. It's about the soul and about that torment and dealing with all that. So.
Well, expect me on the stage tonight when you start singing it. Thank you for this one. Have a great one, man.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Hey.
We have more interview?
Yeah.
Okay.
With me. I know you haven't.
Let's do it.